days is running out. For some people, listening to such programs will give a little motivation. Okay, I'm on the right track. Oh, this guy speaks a language what I know, right? So we get the confirmation. So it'll be multiple level of people here who are very new to this, who already know about PMP, who already know management. You don't know PMP at all. You don't even know what is PMP. That's okay. But still, this topic's what we talk here. It's common in any walk of our life. So we're going to see that what it is. So what I'm going to bring up here is I have few content which is going to talk about little high level, some area a little more deep. We're going to spend at least 1.5 hours connecting few topics here and there, and some questions I have to attend. That I'm going to do that, right? So what we can do is, as we have more number of people joining here, we will park the question answer session in a between after 45 minutes. I will give a break there. I will ask for open up for questions. So you can write down your questions somewhere which you want to ask about this particular knowledge area, and we can discuss about it. And again, after the program ends, I will give another 10 minutes after the program. Still, you can open up with your questions. So you're going to get 2 slots. After 45 minutes, I'm going to stop and open for the questions. You can ask questions. And again, program ends. Again, I'm going to give 10 minutes for question. The reason being is so that the flow of the subject keep going on. Sometimes the flow will answer your questions automatically. So we'll observe the subject for a while, and then we'll give a segment for question. Then we'll do that. So that's a deal here. Hope most of you happy with that. Shall we go with that? If you're good, just give me yes in your chat window. Okay, I'm getting double S from Vishnu. Okay, Priya says yes. Very good, very good. Superb. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for agreeing with this team charter. We call us team charter. We get approval from both the side. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, fantastic. I saw some of your faces. What I do is when you go for the question and session after 45 minutes, we will open up again with the camera and mic, and we will see you, right? I love to see people. Feel like I'm seeing only 10 to 15 people in a day or a week of time. I'm becoming a zombie kind of person who I'm meeting only few set of people, the milk vendor, the paper vendor, or the Amazon delivery guy. All right. So these are some people I'm seeing. If not, my life is staying inside this particular block of home, right? Okay, one other information. There is some internet problem happening in my locality. So what will happen is sometime suddenly it will get blank out. So I'll come in 1.5 minutes back. So I have made some alternate options. It should work well. So if you lose me, just wait for 1.5 minutes. I should be back again for the connection. So don't get worried. Oh man, what's happening? Not so working. Don't worry about that. Just wait for 1 minute. So with that, we will kickstart. I'm seeing good number of people joining there. First of all, I want to say thanks to everyone for joining. Okay, quickly look at the names. Fantastic. Raj, Shami, Raghu, Ravi, Shweta, Venkatesh, Vishnu, Priya, Yamuna. Good amount of people. Okay, fantastic. Hope you all had a good lunch. People are from Asia or India. People are from abroad. I believe it's a little early in the morning. So thanks for waking up early in the morning and coming for the call. Good. With this, let's kick start. So you're going to be in mute mode. You're going to be in camera off mode, right? By the way, is my volume clear? Are you able to hear me precise with my words? Is it clear? Fantastic. That's good. Thanks for confirming. Okay, all the ground is ready. Some people are putting thumbs up. They started using the features of Zoom. Good. Of late, we are getting so much used with this video conferencing tools, right? So that's good. Shweta says very much clear. Fantastic. Technology is improving, Shweta. Thanks for confirming. Okay, by the way, for the people who are watching from YouTube, thanks to you all for watching out, because we are live streaming in YouTube as well. We have few followers in YouTube. They also want to learn the subject. By the way, the topic what I'm going to talk is not a new topic in the world. It's there for so many years. But again, how much we know about it, that's a question starts. So let's get into that area. Okay, today the highlight of the topic is resource management. As I was saying that this resource management concept is there in the world for more than 4,500 years from the time when the Egypt pyramid construction started. So the moment you say resource, it talks anything which makes your assignment, your project, your program move forward from one point to another point. In order to move from one point to another point, you need some set of ingredients to make it happen. If my mom is going to prepare some special meal, okay, that's a project, that's an event for which she needs good amount of resources. She may need vegetables, she may need cookery items, she may need a good connectivity for microwave or oven. These are some of the equipments and material needed to make things happen. Apart from that, we may even need human resource. If I'm there, my mom might call me, hey, why don't you help me in the kitchen to cut this particular carrot or beetroot, right? So point is, we need human, we need material, we need some equipments. Putting this together combination is going to be resources. Okay, this all is in the world for so many years. Now, why we need a subject for it? The problem starts when there is a high demand for certain resources. The problem starts when the leadership is not aware how to use the resource efficiently. I underline the word efficiently. We can see in our same corporate where we are working, some are so efficient in the way of handling people and material. Some may have a great resources with them, but I can't handle it well. I can quote this with some of the examples in sports. If you go to sports, if you watch any football or maybe rugby or watch a cricket match, some teams will have great players, but they will not win World Cup. Usually, World Cup has been considered as one of the champion trophy. They can't win it. You may be surprised. Why? Because of improper utilization of resources, or maybe some gap in the way of the utilizing resources, right? That can happen. So there are a lot of teams that suffer because of this. You can't even get an answer out of it. You may give suggestions when you're watching in television. Yeah, we have this tendency, right? Oh, prime minister should do this way, finance minister this way, captain Dhoni this way, Ronaldo should hit the ball like that. If I put you in that spot, you will say, that's not my role. Okay, I'm just a spectator. I'm a software engineer. I'm a construction person. Okay, in software engineering, what are you doing? I go to office and come back. Then what you do? I pay my EMI bills. What else you do? I don't know. Many have this problem. So finger pointing and telling others very easy. When you are on the spot, when there is a problem, when there is a situation, how do you handle? For that, there are certain lessons learned, certain knowledge areas, certain books, certain articles, certain videos, certain stuff in the market which you can learn through. So let's keep this broad segment of learning on resource factor. However, we also give focus towards what PMP, Project Management Professional Certification, which is in the market for more than decades. We will learn what they say. I, whenever read this PMBOK books, I even read today, and I'm reading it for so many years. I feel every time when you read, you get some new knowledge. The book doesn't change, but our experience change. I am one day elder than yesterday, right? I've grown up. So I got some more experience. And that experience, if I read the book again, I'm seeing a different dimension of information. And this is the reason we have to reread it again. If you feel that I've read it, I've completed it, I'll tell you, you're making a big mistake. You have to read again and again. So you get a new thought process. Shriram, I don't have time to read. That's leadership. You have to allocate some time for learning process. If you're not doing that, we have to be always reporting to someone in our life, right? With this, let's get inside. By the way, quickly I'll take a look of the people join here. I have to greet most of them. Yeah, a bunch of people here. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for the people joined here. So this is Shriram. We are going to talk about resource management today. This is a brush up session for the people who have completed PMP training with us or anywhere in the world, right? There is no restriction. Knowledge is open. Nobody can close it. So we try to give this knowledge back to the society where you can learn, go for the examination. Let me move. Okay, there are some pictures here on the right side and then the left side, a lot of stuff here. Let me try to explain a little bit. First of all, I'm sure as you come to this training, you should be already aware that what is called project. I don't want to go that level, but any project needs some sort of tools and some sort of people, some sort of material to make it from one point to another point. I always keep it telling that one point to another point is every organization do projects to move from one situation where they are to the next situation where they want to go. They call it as a strategy. Yeah, strategy. If you talk about China, they have a strategy. If you talk about India, they have a strategy. If you talk about Brazil, they have a strategy. What is a strategy? Where you see yourself in 2025. To do that, what all I have to do? So for that, what all ingredients needed? What are the components needed? What are the communication needed? Right? That's called project. Um, so how to attain it? For that, we need some knowledge in handling the resources. Let's not go to the country, Brazil, China, India, America. Let's come to our day-to-day job. In our day-to-day job, you do a lot of project activities. Either you directly involve in the project or indirectly. What do you mean by indirectly? Maybe you do one component for the project. See, for there is a birthday party. In this birthday party, you are a cake supplier. Now, birthday party is a project for that family, but you are a cake supplier. Your role starts and ends with the cake. That's it. But still, you need your own resource of material, equipment, and some stuff. The same way for running a birthday party for that family, they need amount of material resource to be there, right? So let's see how this happens and how they handle it properly. So if you look at this image, just pulled out from a PMBOK. Now I'll take my pen. My pen is here. Good. So if you see here, they call three variety of resources. By the way, whenever the word resource is used, if you ask me about what is resource 5 years back, I will tell human resource. Okay, because I always know something called HR, not beyond that. Coming from IT background, most of the time we only see always human resource. Beyond that, nothing comes to our eyes. Whereas when you go to other industries, they talk resource means other factors also. However, in PMP, we try to cover all the domain in the world and almost 208 countries. So when I say resource, it will attract human resource, it will attract material, it will attract equipment, right? So that's what we put out here as a RBS. They call us RBS. Do anybody know what is RBS in this group? Okay, resource breakdown structure. Vishnu is already ready with the answer. He copy pasted immediately. Very fast, Vishnu. Thanks for that. Okay, so now we have a personal, we have material, we have equipment. The three things goes as a branch which talks about resource breakdown structure. How the resources are break down into pieces. Like you have role, you have level, and it goes down material, equipment. So just want to make it a little more clear for you. So I'm providing some images here. You don't need to be carried away by the images. Just a thought for you. These all called resources which helps your project to move forward. Now, finding resources is one part. I mean, understanding the resource needs. What we do is in project management generally, the moment we get the work, we also try to see what all resource needed to complete this work. At times, we will try to collect all the resource, or sometimes we do in a iterative way or incremental way. As and when I move to each component, I will start collecting the resource for it, right? So now they do something called resource estimation. It's a very, very usual factor, right? When you want to do a new apartment or a home construction, I can ask an engineer what all the resource you want. And that guy will give a lot of material and equipment related resource and also human resource. So then I'll ask him, can you arrange it or I have to give to you? And he would say that, sir, we have a consulting firm here and they take care of all this stuff. Only you have to pay the money. So we will tell you what's the amount of resource needed and you have to pay the money. We will get everything done. That's one way of doing work. Other way of doing work, you like to have a marble placed at your home. You want to have your washroom, they call it as a glamour room, right? So you want to make it so glamorous washroom with a good tub and shower facility, where you go to the market and buy one by one. Hey, I want this shower, I want Jaguar, I want this, I want that. And that's other variety of collecting resources. So if it is a small project, if it's in your visibility, you know what you want, you'll buy it. But if it's a major project, we have to collect all the team members, sit together, talk to them, understand, and find out what all resource can help your project to move forward. Sometimes we have to know that when we need it. I'll underline this part, when we need it, because when will decide your cost factor, will decide your quality factor, will decide your risk factor. For example, now there is something happening in the world, all over the world. because of which many projects got halted. Some are waiting for spare parts, some are waiting for some accessories, some are waiting for human, some are waiting for equipment, some are waiting for fund. A lot of factors are there. Now, there are few people who would have stocked certain items. They are good to proceed with the work once the lockdown opened because human is available, material is not available, right? At the same time, there are some places material will be available, human won't be available. The workers cannot reach that spot, red zone, green zone, all factors are there. So the resource factor, some would have planned little early and acquired it. But the market is moving towards something called just in time, JIT. They call it as JIT, just in time. You get the resource only when you want it. You won't try to stock it because stocking cost is high. Stocking can bring a risk. But now with the situation happening, you yourself stocking items in the refrigerator. Go and open a refrigerator. Go and open a snacks box. You have a big snacks box, right? Which will have a lot of sweets, chips, all items. Now you're stocking it. Now you are not using just in time. You are trying to stock it, right? The model keep changing. The world keep changing. I can see many people started commenting about the situation happening, scolding the world leaders, hitting bad. But this is all very common. In 7th century, we had this problem. 13th century, we had this problem. Now we are facing the problem. Your name is going to come in the history because you lived in a bad situation 2020. It's going to happen. If you go back and read the history, this is not new. This kind of pandemic happens again and again. But again, what they learn out of it and how people evolve out of it. Many people are worried, oh, what's going to happen? Nothing will happen. Human is an amazing spirit. These people can come out of all this stuff, and that's called civilization. We start moving forward, right? That's a very important thing. Now, coming out of that, resource is very important factor for which in project management books, we have something called acquire resource. The term is very clear, acquire resource. Get resource whatever you want for a project. And how do you do that? There are multiple ways. Your team can do that, you can do that, but ideally you need the resource when it is needed on the point. You should pick it up, right? So what they do here, let's see some factor. Before I go there, there is a question. So probably you can read this question, try to answer. Let's discuss this question. Quickly, I'll see the number of people. Okay, I can see much of people there. Kindly everybody go through this question and look out from your lens of project management and give an answer. Okay, some answers started coming up. Good to see. Two of your team members are having a disagreement. Okay, some conflict is happening. Oh, which technical solution to use? What is the first thing that you should do in this situation? In PMP exams, the moment they use a word first thing, it means there are a couple of more answers can be correct answers. So it can be answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, maybe step 1, step 2, step 3. Now the ask is, what is the step 1? Step 2 is there. I'm not saying no, but what is the step 1? That's ask. So in PMP exams, be watchful on this particular words. So keyword in this question, I will tell first thing, right? Be a little careful here. And then what they want. Just a minute, I'll pull this tab down. Okay. And then they have a disagreement within each other. Okay. There is a disagreement and there is something they expect to do the first. Consult the technical documents. It looks slightly irrelevant if I read this question. There's this disagreement, something not going well. What's the first thing? I may not go for technical documents. I don't think that's the right choice. I have to strike it out. Tell the team members to work out the problem themselves. This sounds good. We call this as empowering, right? Empowerment. Empowerment is allowing them to do, but not at kind of disagreement on certain areas. If you find it's happening, little going worse, I will tell this area probably we should not give in their hands, where we have to try to facilitate or try to stop that by having a mediation there. Ask the team members to write up a change request. I don't think we're talking changes here. It looks irrelevant. If you watch out here, this answer and this answer looks irrelevant, whereas this answer looks closely relevant, but I won't suggest it because it's not a time to do empowerment. Now, the last choice, let me see what it is. Meet with the team member and figure out what's causing the disagreement. Now, what they're saying is first meeting with the team. It's very important for the leadership role. And again, figure out what causing the problem. They call us a root cause analysis. I believe you would have seen something called fishbone diagram, which talks about root cause analysis. Now, finding the root cause may give some clarity. After you get the clarity, you can ask your team to fix the problem on their own. Possibly. I'm not saying that's the right choice, but possibly. After finding the root cause, I'm not telling that I'm going to give an answer here, but I'm finding a root cause why it's happening, right? And that can give a clue to you where you can then empower the team. Hey guys, I think you are matured here. Why don't you have a brainstorming session to understand which technology to go ahead? Can be a solution. So answer goes to D. Let me look at the answers from you all. Okay, most of you made a D. I can see some of you went to B. I believe the people went to B now agree that. Maybe I'll give the first choice to D and then come for B. Okay, Balraman is putting a point. Firstly, team member will be asked to resolve. Good, Balraman, I appreciate it. Dia says, why not check tech documents again? Tech documents can be, they call us a spec of the project, right? Specifications. So tech documents will have only technology which can be followed or which can be part of it. Now, the moment a conflict started happening, it is interesting to see first what causing the problem before you go to the document. Maybe after understanding the reason, then there are chances you can ask your team to solve the problem with the technical documents, right? That may give some answers, but going directly to the technical document may not. Hope you agree there. Okay, that's pretty good. But anyway, we will see the answer, what they're saying here. Okay, that's answer. This is a classic have a meeting question. You should always gather the information you need before you make kind of decision. I believe now you all agree with the last sentence. First, understand the root cause, and then you can go for other suggestions. Very good. I saw 99% of people went with D, and few went with other answers. I think now you agree that can be the answer. In exam, this is how the questions will be. Two will be little irrelevant out of the task. Two will be closer. So if you can find the context of it, you will answer right question. Fantastic. Good choices there. And I can see some of you not answering. You can also participate. When you participate, you get good knowledge. Good. With that, let's move to the next stage. Now we are talking about resource. Okay. When I say resource, I have to talk a little about the human resource happening in the world. Now, these books are written few years back where they talk more of virtual team, which is so much possible in current scenario. So what do you mean by virtual team? People from different geographical location working towards a common goal. When you say geographical location, Shriram, is that meaning from different countries? Not needed. Maybe different city in the same country, right? Different satellite cities or towns in the same locality can be. Now, idea here is when you bring a virtual team, there is a chance people with high skill can be acquired much faster. There are geographical limitations that people can't travel. Not everybody want to go to different countries, right? But still they have a skill with them. Why don't we materialize it? I'll tell you, with this pandemic, the way we work is going to be totally changed. The manufacturing industry almost will stay the same, but the industry which is towards information technology, when I say information technology, it's not only software engineers. There are a lot of companies. Nowadays, any company is a technology company. They have some technology-oriented concepts. The technology-oriented concepts related companies, the way they work will change. It's going to change. Now, any country can recruit people from any part of the world, and they'll start working directly. That's going to happen. And only fittest will survive. The world will move towards a situation, only fittest will survive. If you don't, no talent, you'll be thrown out. You can't stay in the same company for so many years. The day is going to go off. The reason is the companies can find better resource sitting in a remote village with a little internet can do a good job than the person who just comes to office, go back home, come to office, go back home. They will be thrown out. So only the fittest will survive in the market. So learning skills will be highly appreciated. Now, virtual team helps few factors. One is costing factor, time zone factor, and knowledge factor. And this three comes together and helps the team. Now, why I have to talk a little bit on this area is because we are moving in the world of virtual team, where more expectation of teams formed in a different part of the world. Okay, right. Venkatesh says that current situation. Yeah, it's not current situation. Virtual team is not a new concept. It happens for so many decades. With the IT, now we know much about it's happening. If not, virtual team is a concept happening in different part of the world, right? If you see big monuments happen in the world, they don't do everything at the same spot. If you ask Liberty Statue in the US, I don't know whether they did everything on the same spot. Each will have a different location. Somewhere it will be happening, it will be shipped out and come here, assemble it and fix it. So virtual teams will be working on. So don't think virtual means always computer, laptop, internet. Beyond that also life is there. So people keep working virtually in different places. Only the idea should be shared with them. And some sort of tracking will be there to sync up. So it will happen. So that's how things will work in the world, right? It happens. Okay, fantastic. Good, let's move on to the next topic. Here is one more question. Let's see how much you understand this. Please read the questions. I would expect everybody to answer the question. So that way you get some commitment on what you're learning. Read the question. Even you are not part of PMP, kindly try to answer. Let's see your abilities. Okay, so what's asked here from the PMP? Answers are coming up. Yay. You have just been assigned as project manager for a large telecommunication project. Okay, a new project. This 1 year project is about halfway done, 50%. The project team consists of 5 sellers and 20 of your company's employees. Okay, vendor and employees. You want to understand who is responsible for doing what on the project. In the whole question, the important line is this line. Who is responsible of doing on work on the project? So responsible is one of the keyword. Who is a keyword? Where would you find that information? They're asking about the information. Whenever you look at the PMP exam questions, first thing, look out for the keywords. How to know the keywords, Shriram? You will try to get the construct. That's something called common sense or basic instinct. When you read the question, you will get the second line, you will start getting a grip of it, what these guys are trying to ask. Usually the last but one sentence will have the keywords. But at the same time, don't always see keywords here. And generally, as my knowledge, I feel always the last sentence or the last but one sentence, the previous sentence, there'll be a couple of keywords, a clue will be there. And that clue will help you to answer. So when you look at this, you can see that they're talking about who. Of course, the story is given here. I'm not saying don't ignore the story. Story should be read. After reading the story, if you're coming close to the last sentence, be watchful. See what is the question this guy is trying to ask. Who is the keyword? Is responsible. So who is responsible for it? Okay, got it. Now I'm going to read the answers. When you read the answers, responsibility assignment matrix. Okay, this may be an answer because they talk about responsibility, which is mapping what we want. Assignment is talking about who. Responsibility, assignment is who. Both are happening there, but still, let's see some more answers. Resource histogram. Histogram may not be helpful yet. It's called a resource calendar. That won't help here. So I don't think B will be an answer. Bar chart. Bar chart, it's so blank. Bar chart is one of the visual communication. I don't think it's be a part of the answer. So 2 is gone. Project organizational chart. This looks a different term, which is not mapping with what we're discussing here. That also talking about project organizational chart. What is it? Project and organization. Something cross zigzag, something wrong here. So it doesn't look like a good sentence. This is also gone. So when you eliminate all these 3 and you look at the keywords responsible and who, could be responsibility assignment matrix. Also, they call it as RACI. Do anybody know what is RACI matrix? R stands for responsible, A stands for accountable, C stands for consult, I stands for inform. Now the RACI matrix falls under RAM. RAM stands for responsibility assignment matrix. Nothing but a tabular column, which will have a list of names and list of responsibilities. Who will do what? Right? That responsible roles in your home, I think you have, right? Your children have certain responsibilities. You have certain responsibilities. Your spouse has certain responsibilities. Morning, who will pick up the milk cover from the door? Responsibility. Who will take the newspaper from the door responsibility, who will clean the car every week, who will clean and floor at home, who will buy vegetables, right? Some certain, there's all implicit things which you do at your home. But in a project, you can't consider it as a spouse, right? In project, you have to be a little more explicitly telling that who will do what. I know you like your teammates, your friends, that's different. But when it comes to work, it should be very clearly specified who is going to do what. Because my client has to know that. My client cannot believe what I'm saying by verbal. They should also know what you mean by assignment, who will do what. That's very vital. Okay, I saw most of you or everyone made the answer as EA. By the way, I'll see the book answer also. Of course, it goes. That's fantastic. You made a good choice. And you are progressing really well with understanding. Let's move a little more. Okay, I'm going to talk a little more on the team factors. Now, when we talk about resources, there are a few things we have to work out primarily on human resource. So in resource, I said three branches. One is human, material, equipment. Material and equipment should be tuned, tweaked, and serviced. Good. But human resource is a little different. Human resource should be monitored and helped, supported, and motivated consistently. You may not go and need to motivate a machine. Machine will work all the time. I don't see any manager go and talk to a printer. Hey, printer, you do a good job. You are printing every day. Even though we print our personal tickets in the printer, you're still printing properly. Nobody says that, right? Because we know it's a machine. It'll work. If it doesn't work, I'll throw it. I'll buy another one. But human is not like that. You don't know who is going to be a CEO of your company next. The guy who reported to you in next 7 years can become a CEO of your company where you have to report. There may be a guy who is going to be innovative. There may be a guy who can spoil the game totally. Human is so hard to predict. It's something like 5 fingers, each of different shape, but all are needed to hold something. You cannot tell that I always need thumb. I may not need other fingers. Some managers do that mistake. It's okay, man. I have this guy. I have Ronaldo. Enough. I will win the World Cup. You cannot. I never saw Ronaldo win a World Cup. Of course, Ronaldo plays an amazing game, great player, but cannot go forward. We need a team. We need a group of people, like-minded people, moving towards a common goal. But will it happen automatically? May or may not. We are living in the world of agile from the 2001. We are talking about self-organized, self-disciplined team. Still we are struggling. Why? Human is always different. I believe some of you read the books of psychology. If you read the books of psychology, human behavior is so hard to predict. Some people are easy to predict, some are so hard to predict. That too, human is in full throttling of performance, hard to predict. When that guy is a dumb guy, we can predict. The guy, dumb guy, just come to office, college, go back, we can easily predict. But somebody with a sharp edge of performing great or destroying the world, so hard to predict. That's why certain group of people who keep blasting certain bombs in the world, still we can't predict because their mind is sharp. The same, if it has been used in the right way, it will go in a better direction. So it's so hard to predict this kind of thought process. But one thing we can do is we can collaborate. How to do that? In a resource handling, we have something called reward system. Reward system is something encouraging people. By the way, I put a picture here with a lot of dollars. Reward doesn't mean always a monetary value. Reward is a vote of thanks. For example, many of you joined here. I have to tell you thanks. Hey, thanks for joining the session. Right? That gives a good amount of communication connection between both of us. That is very important. And that reward system helps and motivates people to achieve better. It can be multiple level. Some give us a trophy, some give a certificate, some give a thanks note, some expect dollars. I see some of my friends, whenever we give a quarterly awards or certificate, the first thing they'll ask is how much money you will give to me. Okay, I'll say fine, it'll come to you automatically. So it shows a mindset and attitude. It's about money also needed to motivate them. But again, that's not the only thing. Reward system is something giving a better challenging job, giving more responsibility as a reward. For a son or a daughter at the age of 11 or 12, I tell them that, hey, you can go with your friends at any time, but take care and you have to be at home on time. I'm giving a responsibility of grown up, you know what to do. You know what to eat, you know where to go, when to come back. I give the responsibility to you. That's a reward system. Here, I'm not going to give any money for the kids, but I'm giving a choice to them. Tell them that, hey, I'm respecting you, I'm trusting at you, I'm transparent with you, and take your own decision. And if a parent does that, that's a reward system. Same with your team members. You talk to them, give them the reward of, hey, you can do this job. I'm trusting at you. I don't want to monitor you. Don't do micromanagement. That's a reward system. But still, people expect trophy and certificates and dollar value. Anybody here recently got some rewards? I know the quarterly things have happened now. In this group, anybody here who got a big rewards? Me. Olive says me. Okay, Olive, how much of dollars? Okay, thanks for sharing that details. Prabhu got a bonus. Very good, very good. Yeah, I can see a lot of appreciation happening. In fact, sometimes we have to talk to the team and educate and motivate them, because many of them are not used with the work from home nature. They are used to work with the people. They want to go to office, meet people, have a cup of tea, talk to them, share their happiness and worries, right? And these things not there, people are getting a different thought, different kind of phobia, stuck at home, right? So we need to educate, and we need to encourage them to do a better job. That's also reward system. Once in a while, you have to connect with them. Hey, Ramesh, what's happening, man? How are you? I know that you have some trouble. So how things are now? Is everything good for you? I'm not going to get anything, but that's a reward system where you spend 5 minutes with them. Listening to them is one of the greatest reward, right? In love, when a boy and girl are in love, the first reward they give is listening to them. Sit and say that you talk. I love to hear you. What a beautiful voice. After 5 years, what happens? Please stop it, right? That shouldn't be the case. The case should be something like reward should be very genuine, honest, the way what we do. Okay, that's one important factor of resource. And when we talk about resource factors, I want to talk one other factor called training. So training is very important. But unfortunately, these days, whenever someone asks training, go and join Udemy course, go and join a Shriram course, go and join some course. That's not the only training. That's one of the training. But what we do to the team, are we connecting with them consistently to talk about the strategy, technology, or human related factors, or philosophies? How we are connecting? That's important. Of course, knowledge is also important, but this factor of regular connectivity is important. Equipping your team really well with the knowledge and technology is one other way of rewarding, right? See, if I put my best resource for a training, it gives him a feel, right? The company is trusting me to get trained and equip myself. But I know some of the people after training only they resign the job because I got the training. I got it, man. Let me go to other job. Okay, that's a little factor about the resource and reward system. By the way, I'm not going very deep. I'm just giving a high level view for you for the revision purpose. Right there. Okay, we have another 10 more minutes to start for the Q&A. For now, first we'll listen to some of the questions. Then if there's a question, please go ahead and see how can you answer. Okay, what I'm seeing here is during project planning in a matrix organization. A matrix organization will have functional manager, project managers. What is a functional manager? It can be HR department, recruitment department, finance department. These are the guys who handle some stuff also there. The project manager determines that additional human resource are needed. From whom would she request these resources? Obviously, it's very clear, but still I will see the question and the answers coming up from the people. So when I look at the answers here, I'm seeing B as most of the answer. Let me see anybody trying different answers. Okay, not even one with a different answer. So it means 100% of the people agree that we have to go to functional manager. In this case, when you say functional manager, you may go to human resource department. You may go to recruitment department, right? That's how it is. Even the finance department is a functional management. I'm just giving a clue for you. So why not these areas? PMO. PMO also I can go, but why am I not going here? Let's understand. The project manager determines that additional human resource needed, additional, right? From whom she requests these resources. Now, sometime what will happen is there are certain resource details may be available with the PMO also. PMO will have a detail about what are things happening in the project. When I say resource, it could be material, it could be equipment in lying in other program management, other projects. I can probably reach out to my PMO to give some details. But beyond PMO, functional manager stands the highest priority. We have to try with the functional managers. That's the first way to get the detail. If that's not happening, if you can get that from your PMO at the lighter note, yes, you can try PMO also, but not in this case. In this case, they're asking for a human resource, and they're asking that they need of more additional where I have to go for outside the door and recruit them. So I have to go with the functional managers. Why not the team? Of course, team may be there, but they cannot help me to additional resource. Sponsor, I will keep sponsor as a last option. If this is all not working, probably I have to reach to a sponsor. But as a worst case, that may be the day where we don't get any detail, right? That's how it happens. Okay, that's a good answers from most of you. Okay, Akshay is putting a point. Functional manager is additional manager matrix organization. Sounds good. Venkatesh is saying that it is a matrix organization. It would have been on a projectized organization. PMO good to be a choice. Okay. Shweta says the keyword consensus is mentioned under facilitation as well as negotiation. How to choose the answer? Uh, what I'm getting, why I'm not getting it. Shweta says the keyword consensus is mentioned under facilitation. Oof. Are you with this question, Shweta? Uh, are you talking about this question? I'm not seeing that point. What you're trying to say? Okay, it's a common doubt. Okay, keyword consensus is mentioned under facilitation as well as negotiation. How to choose answer? Okay, this is so subjective. I don't want to give a general open answer here. Probably you have to see the scenario. Without that, if I give it, will be a English dictionary words what I'm talking to you, right? Okay, good. Let's move on because Shweta, that should be a little subjective. I don't want to put an answer which will confuse you further. Okay, answer goes to B here. Let's move a little more. Now, before we go to develop team, let me listen some of the question and answers from you. Okay, now let's open up the topic here. If you have any questions, probably we can talk about it. I'll give 5 minutes time to talk about it. I'm going to just come out of that. I'm going to stop sharing. And you're ready to open it the mic and camera. You can come up and talk about a few questions what you have. So one of the question from Shweta, I heard about the consensus and facilitation. I feel I want to read that topic without I give some answer. It will be a little tough, right? Okay, any other questions you have in your mind to where I can listen to?
Hey, this is Venkatesh.
Hey, Venkatesh.
I have a question. So this is related to the resource breakdown structure, the very first topic that we brought
Yep.
up. So this resource breakdown is a first criteria to start with a resource management plan. Is it, when does this get ready? Meaning, only when you do the information or when you have the plan in place or a resource management plan in place, then you will know where to align what. But then this comes in the first as a resource breakdown structure. How does this gets defined and when does it get defined in a project organization?
When you say it comes in the first, you mean by the slide what I presented now?
Not in the slide, in terms of the flow of the process flow, I mean to say. Does it come in the project management plan, sorry, resource management plan itself, or does it comes in a later
Yep.
stage?
Yep. See, what will happen is in the real projects, we will try to see how much of resource needed. When we say resource needed, we may need human material equipment. This is based on there is something called estimate activity resource where you have to do the estimation. When you do that estimation, you come to understand how much of resource needed in each segment. There you prepare this RBS, resource breakdown structure. It may not happen very beginning of the project because in the beginning of the project, you try to first understand the requirements of the project. When you understand the requirements of the product or project, you also get some hint and clarity of what all resource needed. It can be either parallel or after getting the requirements, understanding little bit on the WBS. When you know WBS, which is work breakdown structure, you go a little more down level at the package level, you may get a little more clarity where you can take that to the next stage where we call as estimate activity resource where you would understand for each activity how much of resource needed. So at the project level, you can do very high, but it won't have much detail. Whereas when you go to the activity level, it may be a little more detailed. So I will tell that this can happen at the different stages of project. It's not only the one stage, but for sure, it may not happen at the very beginning. It will take a little more time, right? I think that
So does it has only the quantity? I mean, does it specify a quantity? It doesn't have more details on it. Let's say if I need,
will
let's say
be.
computer, like I need a 10 computers. Let's say if I need a mission, I need 10 missions of it. Does it what it does it what it gives in resource breakdown structure or?
Yeah, you will have an idea. You will have the quality of it, grades of it, standards of it, and you may have some high level count. But again, there'll be some supporting documents also which can help you to give all these details. RBS generally is a pictorial representation of like what you do for WBS. We'll have a pictorial representation of what all we need. It can be specifying we may need hardware, we may need softwares, we may need cloud licensing. These all can be written there. But further split up, you can put numbers if you want, or they have some supporting documents in RBS where they can add all these details. That's how it will be. Because in a hierarchical form, you may not be able to give all the numbers and details. Probably you would have some supporting documents which can have all these details. Yep. Okay. Hope that helps you.
Yeah.
Right, great. And Kundu is putting a question after WBS and critical path. Okay, I think you're answering Venkatesh's question. So,
Yeah, I was.
okay, thanks, Kundu. And discuss Tuckman ladder. Yeah, we'll talk about it. It's coming up. Also, objectives of developing project team. Yep, we'll do that. Fine. Any other questions coming up on the resource management? Good, 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 good. I think most of you are clear on the subject. So what we'll do is we'll get back to the subject. And post the session gets over, we'll spend another 10 minutes to understand the questions on resource factor. Okay, now I'm going to talk about something on developing the team. Okay, now I'm using the word team here. You have to be a little careful here. In project management PMP books, they use the word team. What happens is whenever you say resource, a resource covers all these three. When I say all these three, in resource you have a human, and you have material, and you have equipment. Now we have to work out on developing the team. The moment they say team, it maps with human resource. Human resource is the one which you have to develop it, right? And how they develop it, there are multiple ways of developing. As I said, some of the trainings can help them, some of the our reward systems, co-locations, team build activities. I'm sure many of you would missing your team build activities the last 3-4 months or 3 months, right? You don't meet your team, you don't have a coffee time with them. Now you feel the importance of that. And in fact, organizations are planning huge fund and time for this. Every year we do have something called team building, where we all go to some particular picnic spot and we spend the whole day, come back. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it goes bad. Both the set happens. Some of the senior resource who worked in the same company more than 5 years, they don't come for this program. I believe some of you watched it. They'll tell it's okay, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. The same Volvo bus, same picnic spot, same evening time, you'll have a liquid food and come back home. So many don't like that. But actually, team build, it doesn't mean always that format. Team build is something collaboration, understanding people, getting to know each other. So human is one of the interesting species where we need people to talk to us. We need people to respect us. We need people to feel good about our presence there. That makes many of them to work really happy. See, not many people are resigning only for the salary, only for the manager problem. I can see the WhatsApp status. People resign not for the salary. People resign because of the manager. But actually, beyond that, there are certain factors. You not being respected for your value, for your thought process, and you don't feel something positive vibration in that environment, you will not like to go there. See, human has that kind of sense there. Until other than your position is so bad, you have to anyhow get the money, you will go there. If not, you will find another way. You want to come out of it. You just come out of it. I've seen some of my friends who resign without a job. They stay home for 2 months without a job, but they don't want to stay in the same job because they don't like it. Even though they get a good package, they say, man, I don't feel it good. And that feel factor is very important. For this reason, we have something called team build, collaboration. But team build has become so commercial these days. Going to star hotel, have nasty food, waste food there, waste your money there, and come back. Right? Actual team build should be something more creative, where people talk to each other, understand one another. If I understand my colleague plays a good, is a good guitar player, a good musician, he has a passion of music, so nice. The next time I can talk to him, connect him well. Hey Ramesh, you know what? I was hearing a good tune last evening. I thought of you, man. I think the good tune. You should listen to that. I'll tell you the connection what I'm creating with the Ramesh will be so amazing. The bond is very important, right? That's the one makes happen well. Go to any marriage or a birthday function. You can see one uncle or auntie at that place working. She don't get any salary for it, but she runs here and there. Why? She has created the bond. The bond is with the family. Same family, one more aunt, she don't want to do anything. Even if you call her, she will tell, no, I don't want to do. I have knee pain. I have a back pain. There's some reason coming up. The reason is no bond happen. Now, how do you create this bond? Right? That's very important. Okay, let's go for the Tuckman rule now. Talking about that, some chat message coming up for me. Um, hmm, let's go Tuckman rule. Now, Tuckman rule is one of the stuff which happens in project management. Now, Tuckman is one guy who came out with the concept, how the team collaboration forming happens. Team goes through the different stages in their ladder. The first stage I talk about the forming stage. Whenever the team assemble, it's called forming stage. Okay, there's a very initial stage. It depends. Your project is very huge. The forming can take little more time because a number of people can be higher, and the reputation and their level of knowledge can be different levels. Now, the forming stage usually happens automatically because we put into induction program, we educate them, everybody in the same scale by the time. If you invite people for the knowledge sharing session, people come there, they smile to each other, shake hands. Hey, you're from which project? Oh, you're from which company? Wow, I've seen you, man. Oh, you're also from the same company. Oh, do you know Mr. Dandapani? He's a finance manager there. They talk like that. Okay. After 3 weeks or one month, you will see slight cyclones start happening. Now, what will happen is here they were in a common topic. When it comes, it becomes a specific topic. So they started using one word. The word is called as I. Most of the people who overuse I will be in trouble. I am the best guy. I know what to do. I am the architect here. I'm an engineer here. I'm the sponsor here. I. The word I starts happening more in storming stage. We can see in corporate sometime, you can see the teams fighting to one another. It's not a team fight. It could be, it would have started with two individuals. Because of that, the whole team will start fighting because of the bond they've created. So the I factor will be very high in the storming stage. They start pulling each other. They don't respect other person. They don't believe other person. This is very common in any new team getting formed. But is it mandatory that every team should get into storming? Not needed. But storming is possible. Storming is possible. And how to avoid the storming? More knowledge sharing, more amount of transparency, and avoiding gossip. I know it's so tough to say, but I'll tell you, most of the corporate life is killed by gossip. I see people talking about other resource, other managers, near the lift area, near the washroom, near the water dispenser, and that is going to really suck the time. It's going to kill the time. Hey, if you don't mind, can you get into mute mode if you're not speaking so that we can avoid the background sound? Right. So now let's go to a little more factors. Next stage. The next stage is called norming stage. In norming stage, what will happen is they started forming a culture of understanding each other. They start to see the benefits of other person shaking hands with them. So sometimes they started using the word we in a sense from the I they start moving to we. Hey, we know how to do this thing, but still the maturity level will not be so high, but still they can perform as a person. For example, if I'm not coming Monday, Tuesday to office, I can give my knowledge to another person. Let's say there is a person called John is there. Hey, John, can you please help me on these 2 days? Can you handle some of the stuff which comes to me? John will tell it's okay, man. I'm happy to help, but just give me knowledge of what you do. I will take over from there. But I can do all, but I can do little factor. And they start seeing each other's benefit, right? So they'll move from the storming to the norming stage. Now let's go to the next stage. And the next stage is called performing stage. In this stage, they move from I, they move from we, they move to a person called team. They would tell that, hey, our team has won this game. Our team has won this project. Men in blue won the World Cup this time. Men in blue. They start talking men in blue when they're performing. You can watch the newspapers when an Indian cricket team wants a big trophy, they will tell them men in blue rock. When they lose it, you can see somebody talking in the press meet, the bowler's not good, batsman not good, something then something wrong. They'll start talking I and V. It'll start happening. So a good leadership team is something like, how do you make this people to journey towards a performing? Will it happen overnight? May happen, but it generally takes time. A team to reach this level needs more maturity, and you have to be coordinating and helping them. Before doing that, first of all, you should understand where the team is. It's very common in sports. You can see that this generally happens. And if your team is already fighting in this area and you're expecting your team to do performing, your project will be zero. First, you have to understand where your team stands. If your team stands here, now you have to educate them. You have to have a team builds, collaboration, coordination, lot factors you have to do. If you find there is a problem between a couple of guys, have regular sync-up calls with them. Make them to work together consistently. Some factors will help them, right? And sometimes they do resource rotation. They move people around. If somebody stay in the same project or same company for so many years, they started becoming a person so attached. They don't come out of their thought process. They have to rotate them, put them into another project, make them to feel uncomfortable. Right? If you give a comfort zone, we won't grow up. That's a problem there. And then they do the adjourning. The moment the work is done, the team will be dissolved. It means they will go to another team, they'll get to the forming stage. Then the storming, norming, team forming, right? That's how it happens. Anyway, that's a big story about this stuff behind the screen, but still, I just start off giving some idea. I'm seeing some chat messages. Let me quickly read that. Darshini is asking, can you give practical examples of this Tuckman? I believe you got some idea, Darshini. And Akshay is saying, Indian cricket team formed after Tendulkar, Dravid, Ganguly era started forming for World Cup 2011. Very good observation, Akshay. With your due permission, I am leaving as I have to attend the official meeting. Yes, Balaraman, thanks for attending. And Akshay says each phase of team you can correlate with the forming, storming. Yes, that's right. Now team is performing with the Dhoni. Okay, actually you're too much driven away by cricket. Okay, good. Anyway, I'm liking the way you're observing cricket. But again, it's there in our corporate also. I don't think we have to go always for the cricket. We have in our corporate life how things working out. Okay, now coming back on this topic, for some reason, why? Are you able to hear me? I feel my system got stuck. Hope you're able to hear me. You guys are hearing me, seeing me, viewing the cam. Oof, got stuck. Okay. Is it better now? Are you able to hear me? Okay. I think it got stuck for a few seconds. Not sure why. Not sure why. Okay, thanks for waiting here. I'm not sure what happened. Zoom is facing overload. I don't know why it's so bad. By the way, the point I was talking here is about the Tuckman. I believe you got the message. Let's move to the next stages. So Tuckman is not only in the corporate, it happens in everywhere in life, right? I sometimes feel that a newly married couple will have the same flow happening with their family. See, within them, they'll be in the beginning stage of performing, okay? And slowly they go to storming later. Okay, that's a different stage. They start here. A love marriage, arranged marriage starts here, and then later it will go here. Okay, that's a different story. But when a new spouse or a partner comes to your home, it may start from here, and we have to carry it to performing, right? So they may be at a high factor, they may be at a V factor, then, but don't do adjourning at home. It won't work for you. So I'm just putting that this you can map anywhere, but point here is you have to be aware of how a team will move. As some team managers, I see that they expect performance from their resources on the first day. They join the company only 2 days. They joined, they reported, they got the ID card, They not even know where the washroom is. On the same day, they'll tell that, why don't you give me this report? I say, man, give them some breathing time. Let them understand where they are. They have to breathe first. They have to know who they are, because it's so early to judge for them to what to do, whom to work with. Little time. That's so important, and that buffer we have to give. But some resource, I know that from first day they can do good job. We can put some cricket players or football players on the first match. They make a goal. They make a good shot. Not everybody same way, right? Out of 100 people, two can be like that. But don't estimate the rest 98 people the same way. And we make a judgment about the resource on the first week itself. Ah, it's a poor resource, not doing good job. So that's going to be trouble for us. Okay, fine. I think we have Dheeraj join the call. I don't know why chat window is not coming for me. Good. Okay. Consistency is expected, Krishnan. Okay. Some wants to know everything before joining. Okay. Yeah, Jasmine, that's right. The people are different variety. That's why you see the top leaders at the highest level. When a resource talks something, something not good for the company, also, they will not be so emotionally carried away. They'll just look at them, they smile at them. Yeah, I hear you. They tell, I hear, I get your point. Then they'll give a day of time again. They call him. So I was hearing some topic you were talking yesterday. So can I listen to you again if you want to explain? The second day, this guy will mellow down. Voice will go down, because sometimes human brain will be so much reactive. You'll pour out, but if you give it time, little bit, and then they digest and come back, they'll be better, right? I've seen some of the senior folks don't jump to decision immediately. They give a little time. Doesn't mean that to come back after 1 year. I'm telling that depending on the situation, they'll give little time. They'll allow you to breathe, allow you to think, and then talk to you. But they won't forget it. They'll come to the same topic after 1 week. Shriram, you know what? Other day you opened up a topic. It's a very interesting one. Now I want to give an opportunity to you. Why don't you open the topic again now with a different dimension? And you'll be surprised. Wow, this guy remembering me. Now that is a big respect. That's a big responsibility. And now you feel, okay, let me talk in a very positive way. Things can change. There are a lot of ways of working with the people. Why I have to talk all these factors is we see great encyclopedias in every company. Every company has an encyclopedia. When I say encyclopedia, a guy like me with the specs, okay, will always so intellectual guy, but they cannot work with the people happily. If you ask him to work individually, happy, amazing. There'll be Albert Einstein when they are in the lab. When you put him with another resource, the resource will resign, or this guy will have a fight with them. This consistently happens in every organization. I'm not talking one particular domain. You go to construction, they fight literally. If you go to doctors, I've seen doctors fighting, right? If you go to IT, it happens. Teachers, principals, lecturers, professors, students, everywhere it is. So how can you be? Shriram, do I need to be Mahatma Gandhi, Vivekananda? Not needed. Be with some common sense and understand from their perspective. Sometime it will work. For that, we have to read certain books on philosophy, some books on management also. Okay, I think we have Dheeraj with us. Hey, Dheeraj, hope you are able to hear me.
Hey, good evening, Sri. How are you?
I'm doing great. So we have Dheeraj, the person who cleared PMP at least 3 days back, Dheeraj.
Yeah, 26th May, the glorious day. And it was great listening to you again, the same old session like in February.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Dheeraj. I know, and the effort what you put to come to this level. And Dheeraj was one person who was working so much hard, consistent. He was showing above 80, 75% in most of his practice exams. I was so surprised. He'll ask me, Shriram, anything else I have to read? I have to tell him that next is you have to write your PIMBOK 7th edition. So he went to the level of learning the books end to end. He performed really well. And on 25th, he did his online exams and he's so excited. And now he's a PMP holder and a top 2%. So we'd like to listen from Dheeraj how the exam went on. Maybe after he explains some factors and tips, a couple of them can ask you questions, anything on that. But don't ask him what questions came there. Can you give me that questions? It's a human impossible. By the way, Dheeraj, would you like to show your face? How do you look? Are you in the caveman look or a smart look? How are you?
Okay. I don't know. I'm not able to turn my camera somehow.
Okay. It's okay. No problem. No problem. But then first of all, congratulations. You can go ahead and you can give your journey, how it happened. Oh, that's Dheeraj. You look pretty smart, man. I look like you lost some weight with this PMP program. Huh?
Obviously, I mean, it was like more of anxiety for the last 2, 3 months. Am I really going in the right direction or not? In fact, scoring 74, 75 also was, kind of creating more anxiety. Am I going to a wrong direction or into a right direction? And I think you missed to mention there was one more status that message that you sent me on WhatsApp, and you were like, "Hey Vina, you just have one more day. I hope you're flicking through your notes." I will like let me throw my mobile. I'm not a winner until unless I pass my exam.
Good to know. By the way, Dheeraj, many people are throwing congratulations for you on the window. So once again, congratulations from ShriLearning team, and thanks for trusting us. Thanks for listening to what we are saying. Because making people to listen is not easy stuff. So you trusted us, and we trusted at your knowledge, and you rocked it. So probably you can give some idea, a quick idea of how was the journey that will help them.
Well, for me, I must say, like the opening statement starts like 74% on an average in 5 exams. That is what created a lot of questions while I was taking my exam, because I was like the level of difficulty, I felt it a little difficult than what I had taken in prep first. So my key takeaway is that the exam was the level of difficulty of the real time PMP exam was quite higher than what I took on prep class. Or in fact, I started with Udemy also, but I will not suggest anybody to go for Udemy. Udemy doesn't have that material that anybody should try for. Second thing is that what helped me to make sure that I am able to complete all my 200 questions in 239 minutes. I mean, the total exam is 240 minutes, right? So I always kept my target during my prep test exams is that I have 200 questions. I have 4 hours. So within one question, I should be able to complete all 50 questions. That doesn't mean that I keep rushing to another question, but a kind of time control over myself that, okay, 50 questions in 1 hour. So I'm giving myself another, remaining questions, the equal amount of time. And this really worked out on the real time exam as well, because I kept maintaining that from the day one for my first prep cast mock exam. I think that helped me a lot. Second, I guess, Sri, you were very right. Like, taking the exam on prep class doesn't serve the purpose. Taking the exam, reviewing the answers, correct and incorrect both. Of course, we will review incorrect, right? Because that is what is like putting a lot of questions. But the correct answers also, when I reviewed, I found, okay, my thinking process is very rough. That is not helping. So what I understood is, and I followed in all my exams until the live exam, was that try to identify which process it is referring to, which particular knowledge area it refers to. I think it helps to narrow down our thinking options and also refines it to select the better option. That is one of my key ways of answering all my questions. It may not help in all the questions. My understanding says is maybe more than 60 to 70% of the questions it will definitely help you, that okay, this is for identify stakeholders. Okay, we have an identify stakeholder sample stakeholder analysis. Okay, this is what we have the answer. So that actually helps to eliminate most of the options, maybe two options easily, and third and fourth we can narrow down to the right option. So that is another thing I made sure I kept following that, and it helped me on the main exam as well.
That's great. That's great. And yep, hey, one question I can see from the window, Darshini is asking, what books or a material or a website you go apart from learning? I mean, probably people see two things generally people want to know. I'll put the question. One, they want to know which book you read consistently. Another thing, how many hours per day you have to spend. This, I always see that. I don't see anybody asking what food do you have to eat every day. That I don't see that. But at least they'll ask which book, how many hours. Probably if you can give some highlight there.
Uh, well, I went. Okay, I think this I should have covered in the beginning. So I would suggest everyone that refer to Shriram's workbook. That is the stepping stone to begin your preparation. And Rita is what I had read, and I still prefer that. I I mean, this is again my suggestion. Maybe it may not be the right option for others, but I won't suggest to go to Pimboff because it seems to be more of literature for me. I feel as if somebody is writing a poem and I'm completely lost in some other word. But after you're done with Rita, if you still have appetite, which I won't again suggest, but is I mean in the long term also, even if you clear PMP, I just Pimboff should be your kind of Bible that you can refer to anytime. Then it really makes sense. More of a literature, it would be now more of your connectivity. You can easily connect to all those concepts. So Rita and Shriram. Another point what I did is Shriram's, okay, let's start like we have stakeholder management. Obviously in Shriram's workbook, it will get completed in 3 pages, but when you go to Rita, it may be completed in 40, 50 pages. It's not about the pages. Sriram's workbook is referring to the ethos, and I started with those ethos first, and then I went to Rita and tried to connect. Okay, this is in a tabular form. This is into a very paragraph form, detailed manner, and try to visualize it. Okay, this is how there is a movement. Okay, we have this input going here, we have the output going there. So that is how the study material I refer to throughout. In addition to this, while I was doing prep class, I did find some questions which were totally out of my reach. I never read them before. What I did is I used to, while reviewing all those questions, right, all those 200 questions after taking the complete exam, I used to make my notes. Okay, project buffer. I don't know what is project buffer. And remember, Sriram, I did ask you that question one day before. So I never knew what is project buffer. So obviously now you can't find it in your book as long as you're confident that it is not there in the book. Then just simply go for Google. I mean, Google
Yep.
Jindabad is like that.
That's right. Hey, one other question coming up. Sorry to stop you there because
Uh-huh.
Shami is putting a question. How was your experience with the whiteboarding? I know you love this question.
Well, I blindly turned my eye. I said I will not do anything which is having any calculation for whiteboarding. Uh, One of my members from the same February team, he had experienced this. So what he suggested me is that why don't you try to play around on the paint? I did try it, but I felt that okay, I'm not even to form even one alphabet. What do I think of doing any calculations on the paint? That is the first thing. Second thing is I really understood that the critical path method calculations, be it simple, be it difficult, be it small, be it lengthy, I cannot perform them on the painting or on the whiteboard. So what I followed the tip is in the last 2 3 exams before taking the exam, that earned value, planned value, those kind of numericals are very simple. So it's as simple as that, that we have a traditional practice, right? EV equal to 2000, PV equal to 3000. So let's not go for it. Let's try to keep our processing much more stronger. We remember the values and then do it there itself on the calculator which is given there. Fortunately or unfortunately, I never got any questions on the earned value, planned value, but I did practice that in the last 2 3 prep class. So I kept all my pen paper away from my desk, which I used to do earlier in the first 2 3 exams, because I was not very much aware of this whiteboard and all this stuff. I thought they will give it to me even in the online exam. But so last 3 exams, I just tried like this. Okay, this is a numerical. I have to do it myself.
Yep. But yeah, answering the question, that's right on there. Thanks for answering. Shami, to your question also again, whiteboard, they're given it, but I feel a little tough if you're not used with that. I'm sure it is not going to replace the papers. So it's going to be a little tough for the people. Maybe PMI should think something, they come back, but for now, that's a one option they have. Still, it is a hard part. So people are practicing without that, how to do. Also, Darshan is putting a question, can you make a brain dump there? Sure, you can't make it because no paper and pencil allowed when you do online exam at your home. So they don't expect you to have a paper and pencil next to you. You will not keep your mobile next to you. You will not have a paper pencil. You have to show the camera all around the room that nothing is there which can help you for the examination. They'll be very strict on this process. So while practicing itself, we have to practice as if there's nothing there. Only I trust something inside my what do you call it as brain, right? Okay, yeah. We have to we have to trust that this guy will help me, right? This guy can do all the stuff. That belief should start happening from the day one. We're not going for dumb, we're not going for the paper. I know it's a little drawback, but if that's a system being followed from the day one, we're all good. Good, Teraj. So, Teraj, what are the special food items you have to take last 1 week?
Nothing. Simple, Dhartathana, normal food that I was having. And perhaps I should answer your question, Sri, how many hours I was spending, right? And, that's something even I also had in my mind. And I felt like, let me dump this thought of, taking the PMP exam in the month of February. So I guess lockdown turned out to be fortunate only for myself in taking the exam, being at the home, locked up inside, and saving the traveling time. Right, 2 hours. I mean, at the least, I'm able to save it. That's the bonanza I would say I got for preparing for this exam, and of course, then being at home, you're getting everything.
Yep. Great, great. I can see your excitement at your face. The moment you call me, Shriram, I cleared. So that's a great excitement I got there. Fantastic. Good, good, Dheeraj. That's good to hear from you. And any other points? Anybody want to ask questions with Dheeraj on the journey of your success? Okay, this online exams are getting so familiar now, and some of them have a question: What if the internet goes down? What if the power goes down? What if my system crash? What if PMI application goes down? Yeah, these questions are a little crazy, still in the market. Yes, your questions are valuable. Now, when these things goes down, they are getting your mobile number before even the program starts. So they will call your mobile number. Hey, we can't see you there. What's happening? So chances are that they can reschedule your exam. One of the candidate recently, PMI application crashed. It went off. So they have to raise a complaint for it. Now they're giving another date for the examination after a few days. So I believe PMI is also picking up because many people started writing the traffic is so high. So there are chances it can even have some trouble that's there, but it's a very rare case because it doesn't happen generally. So you don't need to worry about it. Just giving a point to you. Okay, there is a question from Darshini to Dheeraj. Any of your work experience helped you clearing exam? What a question, yeah.
That's indeed a great question, Darshini. Um, yes, the work experience really helped me. I mean, this is not that if you do not have the real work experience, you cannot answer the questions, but just helps to expedite your processing of those questions and think broadly. That's what I can say on this. But yes, work experience does help.
Perfect. I think you mentioned the work, what you do at home also, domestic work.
Yes, I've learned making chapatis at home now.
Yeah, proud.
I can say some of the questions that I found during I saw during the exam which I can remember. One of them was about the conflict resolution techniques. I think 3 or 4 questions at the minimum, and which is a big number according to me. 3 4 questions on the conflict resolution in a different manner, in a sporadic manner, right?
Right.
So that was fun. And second was about the risk management. Needless to mention, is always on the hit list. I mean, risk management, you will get questions like anything and you will be jumping between two different options, so it's always a challenge to select the right answer.
Okay.
uh, just one more point I would say that I'm not sure, this may be a personal challenge to me and even my one of my friends who was planning to take the PMP exam a few days back. I made her aware that during the exam we are not allowed to have any food or drinks, no water, nothing. So maybe when you take your prep plus exam, just practice in such a way that you are completely deprived of all these things for 4 hours, and that you know makes you confident and also prepared in the real time exam.
Yep. That's good. Thanks for the points. Maybe one last question we'll take from Venkat. You want to come on the mic? Hey, Venkat. Yes, please.
Hey, yes. So I also hear about this online exam that, protector is very strict and you can't even keep your hands over your face and you can't move around. So because it's very natural tendency when you look at the screen for complete 4 hours, you get to move your hands and face and other things. Is it that strict, or I just wanted to know if was it really comfortable taking exam, because this is something which is stopping me to register online. I have a date for September, which is on the center, but I still don't want to wait till September. So I want to wrap it up in online exam. But this is something which is really stopping me to think for it. In fact, my exam was in April that got cancelled, so I could not take up exam online thinking about this. So how was your experience in terms of sitting in front of the system and somebody's watching you and you're taking up exam and somebody's watching you? So please.
That's indeed a very good question, Venkat. I had the same fears before taking the exam. So, I mean, I kept moving, but making sure that he is able to see me properly and be judgmental at the same time, that I'm not doing any mischievous. That is first thing. Second thing, I don't think that they object to you if you're covering your face. I mean, on a light note, I was like, oh God, what is this? I'm not able to answer. This is a tough question. What do I do? I mean, I was just doing like this, touching my
Yeah.
forehead, and so all those expressions are very natural, Venkat. And he didn't object, but yes, one thing he did object me in the phase two meaning after taking a
Mm.
brief for 10 minutes. Maybe I was reading the questions aloud, which I don't think so, but he was able to decipher that and object to that. That okay, Dheeraj, please speak slowly. Your voice is very much audible to me. That was the only thing he interrupted me. Apart from that, I guess I was very comfortable. But yes, reiterating, I made sure that I'm visible to him every time I'm there, not shaking up too much. Even if I'm like moving my face, I should be able to show it to him that okay, I'm not doing anything wrong that he should object to.
Hey, can we keep a cardboard picture like you and do some stuff there? Okay, that's a good time. I know. Thanks, Dheeraj, for coming all the way, for spending a few minutes with us to explain about the stuff. We are so excited to see you growing, and also we want to see your success going forward, utilizing this PMP. That's very important, right? One is
That's
getting
right.
the certificate. I keep telling that. How do you sell it? How do you market it? That's very important, because hard work, we have to sell it in the proper way. So I believe you will do that effectively and see you as a top 2% consistently, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you
Good.
so much,
Thanks,
Sri.
Dheeraj, for being here, and congratulations once again from all team members here, and again from everyone here. So thanks, Dheeraj. Have a great time. Enjoy the party there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. So that's Dheeraj for us to talk about the PMP stuff. And I believe most of you got the details, what you want, and that's a quick catch. So what we do is we'll go back to the session. We have few content to cover before we have closing in next 10 minutes. So what's the content? The content comes up here, and in resource management we were talking a little bit on the Tuckman ladder. Then we'll go with something called TDX. I have one more slide on more that the session ends up. So I'm talking resource management at the high level, giving some views about what all makes a resource effectively brought inside as acquiring and then developing them and then managing them. So there is one factor which is called as a motivational theory, where they talk about theory X and theory Y. When they say theory X, they talk about the people who give more focus to granular level of work, or sometimes you can look at this picture and get a view of it. So what kind of managers you call them? Does anybody have a clue of it when you say theory X managers? Okay, there are some managers who like to know what we do every 15-20 minutes, right? Okay, I can see some answers coming up. Micromanagement, right? Autocratic. So there are people who do that, who come and check what we do regularly, right? And I don't know why that happens, but maybe the lack of trust, or don't want to give the responsibility, or bad choice of choosing resource. If the resource is not a good resource who can do the job, the doubts will be always there. We do that, right? We don't like micromanagers. So definitely you would have met some micromanagers in your life. You may not like it, but you do micromanagement with your spouse and with your children, sometimes with your parents also. You do. You give some tasks to them and you don't allow them to do, but you keep watching what are you doing, when you'll complete, right? So when you look at that, why it's happening, the reason is lack of trust, and not want to give the responsibility to them. So we cannot blindly tell this is wrong, but again, this, if it's happening without proper understanding and not giving proper responsibility, then that can hit the flow very badly. Now, opposite to that, we have something called theory Y managers, where they trust the people. They trust the people. But in order to trust the people, you have to choose the right resource. If you don't choose the right resource, this will be the situation. So how to choose the right resource? If you want to choose the right resource, first of all, you should know the project really well. You should know the requirement of the project with the clarity. If you don't know the clarity or information about the project, you will choose any resource available in the market. Usually the HR department or recruitment department tell that any resource is the best resource for them because they have to onboard them. They will tell this is the best resource in the market, Shriram. This guy comes with 13 years of experience. He worked in all the fortune companies. He's amazing, right? Okay, recruit him, put on the board, put him in front of the client. The person cannot communicate properly, struggle with the communication. I'm not talking about language, I'm talking about the way they talk about the subject. Then we go back and ask him, and they said, you have 13 years of experience. 13 years I was there, but I didn't play a role as a manager. I was just playing a role as a team player. But this is the first time becoming a manager. Oh my God, nobody said to me this. So there's a lot of gap happens most of the time. And for that reason, they want the people to understand clearly on the requirement part before you go for the resources. And TDX and TDY managers are so common in the market. I'm sure many would have seen it. Many would be the TDY managers also, TDX managers also. Don't be surprised that you are a TDX manager, and everybody want to be a good boys, a good girl, right? You yourself tell that I'm a good guy in my company, I'm the best, right? You may think that you have to go for a 360-degree feedback. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this feedback. They call 360-degree feedback. It will be open feedback where your team gives about you. That day you will see how many people talk about you, good and bad, right? So there you'll understand what kind of personality you are. So you have to do that frequently. Okay, Prithvi is saying that they don't trust fully. That's why parents don't like us. Okay, there are a lot of big theory behind that, big psychology behind parents-children connection. Maybe I'll do a different session on psychology. There I'll talk about it. Okay, there are a lot of things, interesting fact of the human. Human is one of the interesting species in the world. Okay, there is a question here. Attend it. Take a look, a big question, read through. Okay, answers starts coming. Um, One Vishnu has given answer. Rest Darshni, Rashmi. Okay, let's see the answers from most of you. Give a try. Give a try. Nothing wrong. Even if you go wrong, that's fine. But give a try. Let me see answers from every one of you here. Meantime, I'll also go for the keywords in the question. So what's a keyword you are seeing in the question? When you read the question, there are some keywords being explained here. Which of the following types of project management power will likely be the most effective in this situation? First of all, when you say power and which is effective, then quickly, most of the time, it goes to one place. Dia says, but I would like to discuss different matrix environment. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing a couple of good answers coming up. Most of you made the right choice. They talk about the powers. So all these four are powers which helps people, but different levels. Penalty power, it was a power which was there, let's say 40 or 50 years back. Now we don't have this happening so much. Max and max these days, power can be, penalty power can be maybe canceling your vacation. That can be a penalty power. But actually, if you go back our human civilization, penalty was so heavy. Let's say a century back, people were killed, people were tortured. That's how the penalty. Now we have mental torture, but still, it's better than before. Because early days there's a mental torture and also the physical torture. Both were there. Penalty was so crazy those days, so it may not be a good power to use. And formal is one of the thing, and but it's not a power actually to help out. Formal is kind of a way where we communicate, where we be with the people, right? Now there is something, two things I will ignore out, but two things I will to take into consideration: a referent and expert. What is a referent? A referent talks about how do we associate with the people who are at a good level, good position. For example, if I'm a good friend of a CEO of a company, and we go for a coffee together on a regular basis, I get a referent power, right? For example, the car driver of a president of a country has the highest power, right? It's a referent power. or sometimes it goes by charisma. What is charisma? The charismatic character. For some people, you don't know why you like them, the way they talk, the way they behave, the way they carry themselves. You feel, wow, this is amazing, good. So this all falls in a different part. But the question here is looking for something technical knowledge. There is something on factor which need to be taken into consideration, performance, right? So when you say performance, a technology, concept, something challenging, then definitely it goes to the expert power. Expert power is the number one power in the world. Anybody expert in a field, people go in search of them. It may be a doctor who stays 150 miles away, but still will travel because we want an expert. I know there is a doctor in maybe 100 meters from my home, but I won't go to this doctor. I will go to a doctor who is a specialist. How many of us go to a church or a temple or a mosque which is thousands of miles away? Why? There's an expertise there, right? There is a mosque, a church next to you, but you don't go to that. You go to something far away, 1,000 miles. Why? Expertise. Expert power is the number one power in the world. It is going to be the same for so many years also. So being expert is always good, and being expertise and having a team member with expertise is always good for the team. So most of you made the right answers. I appreciate it. That's a good choice from most of you. Then let's see the answers from the books. Okay. Good. Okay, sorry. Let's see one more factor that's called Herberg's theory. When you talk about a motivation theory, there is something called Herberg's theory, which talks about what motivates people. So what motivates people, you have to see that. The motivation here talks about few factors. If you watch it here, giving responsibility to people motivates them. Job satisfaction motivates them, right? Achievements, recognition, advancement in career. So these are certain motivational factors, right? And hygiene factors. Hygiene means certain basic things which you need in life. I don't want that to be, what I say, even if it make it high, I won't feel happy, but let it be there. It should be there. If it's not there, I will feel the difference. But if it's there, I'm happy. For example, you should have a good compensation. You should have a good status at your society, and you should have a job security, and you should have a lift operating properly. You should have a car parking slot. You should have a good AC in your office. So these are hygiene factors should be there. If it's not there, I feel bad, but just by increasing that, I will not feel overexcited. Whereas when a good amount of responsibility or achievement or recognition is given to me more and more, I feel more excited. I do more contribution towards the work, what you do. And they call it as a motivational factors, or Herberg's series. The main factor is how people feel motivated. What makes them, money or responsibility? Money goes as a hygiene factor, whereas responsibility goes like a motivational factor. Okay, that's a little on the factor of motivation. And the last one talks about the controlling the resources. So in the resource management, so far we saw acquiring, developing the team, managing the team. Now we have to control it. What do you mean by control? You're going to see how much of a material and equipment and resources are needed, because we have acquired some sort of thing which may need or may not be needed, or more may be needed. So we have to keep a continuous watch of how much of resources needed, how much we used it, is it still in usage, or we have to withdraw it, or you have to send it back. That we do as a process, right? And in project, this is very important area, because you lose a lot of money if you don't control the resource properly. There can be a lagness in the project if you don't know when to get the resource or when to release the resources, right? That's very important factor. Okay, that sounds good. Now we have one more question. Please look at the question and give a shot. Thanks, Akshay. Okay, what's the question is asking for? There is no one else available who is better qualified to do the work. What is the best solution? Best solution. The moment you see the best keyword in the exam questions, be watchful. They are having a couple of more correct answers. I keep telling that when you see best, it means something's one more answer is right. So you have to go a little careful on it. So they're telling that a team is not performing well on the project because they're inexperienced. Very good. Now, there is no one else available, so they block the door. They're saying that no one else. You have to survive only with this team. What is the best thing? So with this a team, you have to survive. They are not having much knowledge now. What we can do? Allocate some of the project to schedule reserve. project schedule reserve. Doesn't look right answer. Arrange for the team members to get training. Training look like a keyword which can map with inexperienced. But still we'll park this question answer. We'll go to next question answer. Obtain a new resource more skilled in development work. This cannot be because they locked the door, no else is available, right? Now consult with a functional manager to determine project completion incentives for the team members. They're talking about incentives, but for the inexperienced person, incentive may not motivate, right? It can, but not at this stage. So the competition is between A and C. If I'm a manager and the leader of this organization, with this situation, I want to decide whether I want to go for incentives or I have to train them. So if that's the case, probably I would recommend to go for training. So I believe some of you got the answer and some of you answered it well there. Okay, I can see most of you went C. Dia is putting a question. Is there time in this example for team to get trained? What will happen in example if this happens? I'm not getting your question there. I think if you say time, I don't think time is mentioned here. They're talking about the resource need to be trained in a sense they have to equip themselves. We're talking about equipping, right? Right. We're trying to answer within this circle. Right. Training will impede your schedule. Yes, got you there. But what if a team does the work without training and they totally collapse the project? In the name of delivering early, you should not give some low quality product, right? So now we have to go back to the next stage. We have to realign your time schedule. You have to talk to your sponsors. You have to make some arrangements. I don't want to go with something which is not go with high quality. That's very important, right? So that we have to focus. Okay, but in the time in the exams, always keep in mind that you are working to win a project. You are not working to just because someone's saying you'll do it. No, you have to think in our dimension. How can we win this project? How can we be successful? Fantastic. And that comes up with some answer. Let me see the answers also. Yep, arrange for the team member to get training. Sounds good. Okay, a few topics which we covered today. I know we shooted up extra 5 minutes, but still we covered a few factors. We spoke about resource breakdown structure at the highest level to understand what all under the resource stuff like a human, material, right? Material and equipment. We spoke about it, but we give more focus on this area to understand how to handle them. That's where we have the acquire the team, develop the team, manage the team. These three will fall for human resource. Material and equipment can go for procurement also, where we have a third party. Even human resource can go for procurement also. Virtual teams, we got some clarity. We also looked at the reward system where we encourage people, pat on the back, help them. Tuckman rule, we understood how the ladder goes on. Motivation theory, we saw some theory X, theory Y, and Herberg's theories. These are some of the basic ideas which you get out of the resource management. Okay, I'll quickly park here, maybe a couple of minutes. Is any specific question which can help you? Okay, so Swati has put a question here, general question. I'm a project manager from food industry. We get resource approval from sponsors only, but here I see it is from functional manager. So why is there such a disconnect? Because it will be difficult for me to correlate my experience with the theory. Learning in PMP exam, can you expand from your experience? Okay. Okay, I don't agree with the word disconnect because there is no disconnect here. You're working in a food industry, we get resource approval from sponsor, but who decide the resource? You decide the resource, right? You should tell what you want for your project. And you're going for approval. Approval can be from sponsors. Of course, they can be. They can give some idea about what will be the pricing factor, where to recruit it, what to do. You can go for that. But ultimately, the team which is doing the project, they have to decide what resources needed. So we have to work at the ground level. But if you are a sponsor willing to do all that work also, yeah, let them involve in your project. They call us product owners, where they sit with your team and they talk about the resource. So it's a mutual agreement with both the party will do it. So resource is something the project team has to have a clear idea. Later, you will bring a third party for procurement, you bring sponsors for approval, and more kind of adjustments can happen. But the core team should have knowledge, right? And when you say functional manager is available both in your corporate and in your sponsor corporate. It doesn't mean always your company. Functional means it can go to sponsor also, right? You can talk to them. Hey guys, you guys are going to help me with the recruitment process? Yes, they will say, yeah, we are going to recruit. That's how it's going to be. Okay, that's pretty much. Hope Swati it helps you. And Nidhi is putting a question. Controlled resource includes the release of physical resource only. It's not only release, Nidhi, it will help out to adjustments also to find out, are we managing the resource efficiently? Is there any gap there? Do we need more resource to be recruited or procured? This is all we'll look into. You'll see the demand and supply that will be there. Also releasing can also happen. It's all process. Okay, and Priya is asking, can you show hygiene factors again, please? Okay, I will go back quickly. Okay, meantime, Manoj is saying thanks. Swati is saying thanks. Good there. Okay, this is a hygiene factor. Okay, I believe that helped you all a little bit. I know some of you read these books already. Some of you are just started. Some of you just came for the training programs. So give it a little time. If you're very new, you have to read the books, because what I've given is only highlight. Probably you have to read more theory in the books also. That's also important. What's the role of a project manager in RBS? A project manager plays a vital role where we have to sit top of it to see how RBS is framed along with the team. We'll be the facilitator, right? Good. Any more questions? If not much questions here, I would like to thank everyone here for participating and the people who are observing from YouTube. And this is one of the knowledge area in PMP, which many people struggle to answer in exams because it falls in execution vertical in PMP, and it has 31% of exam questions. Nearly 62 questions will come in execution vertical. And the resource factor, many struggle because handling human is not easy. First of all, handling yourself is not easy. Now you have to handle another person. So many scenario questions, they struggle. So read it with an open mind. Don't read it with your corporate knowledge alone, right? Your corporate knowledge is fine. Plus also read the global knowledge, how 200 countries working, how other domains working. When you read from their perspective, you can attend the exam question little more broader, because the same question paper is being given to 208 countries and people from different domains will come there. So we shouldn't see only with the 4 people in our corporate life. We should see a little broader also, right? Good. And once again, thanks all for participating, and appreciate your patience to sit and listen. And also we have some tips about the exams as well. Hope it helps. For some of you, you are away from the PMP for a while. You didn't open the books for some time. You just came here to boost yourself. I would tell that don't wait. Time will not wait for you. Situations changing all over the world. There can be high demand for people with the skillful knowledge. Recently, a survey came up in the papers in India. I saw Times of India, and it says that top best certificates. In that, you can see 4th certificate as PMP. That's the only project management certificate, the big list. I don't see any other certificate. So PMP has its highest value even till today, even next month or after a year also. So kindly spend time, read it, clear it, learn it with a depth knowledge. Don't learn only for certificate. Use it as well, right? Good. And thanks for being here. I showed up extra 10 minutes. Sorry for that. But again, I appreciate your patience. Sit and listen. We'll connect in one more session with a different knowledge area. Thanks all. Have a great weekend. Thank you.